What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlinks content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. All right, we're going to talk about DEC today, and this is going to be one of those keeping it real videos. All right, no FUD, just straight talk. And I'm always open. To constructive criticism or the counter arguments in the comment section below. So let me know what you think. What I am going to present to you today, though, is straight from the horse's mouth. And no, I'm not sorry, Matt. I'm not calling you a horse. But it was something mentioned by Matt during the town hall talking about DEC. Now, Matt very clearly referred to DEC as a potential stablecoin in the future and the stablecoin of the market or of the Splinterlands ecosystem. Now, there was a lot of interesting stuff there. I'm not going to dive into all of that, especially all the stuff that he was talking about with Luna and or Terra Luna and UST and how that whole thing works. I'll save that for another video and maybe when I can understand it better and also speak to it better. But what I did want to immediately bring to attention here is the fact that I don't believe there is going to be any chance, or at least a very, very, very tiny chance, that DEC starts to make an upward trend again. It has become incredibly clear through previous town halls and then definitely in the one earlier or the most recent one that DEC is going to go back to its intended peg. And the team is not going to do anything to stop that or to stifle it or to deny it. And I think that's good. They don't want to mess with the algorithm. This is how the white paper was written. So that's what's going to happen. Now, what's interesting is that they will be able to change the amount of DEC that's printed, but what they don't want to do is change how the DEC print rate or inflation rate is adjusted whenever it is off of its peg. So there's a couple of things here that I think are important to note. And really, it's just, I've been hearing and reading and seeing a lot of comments about, okay, during the next bull run, DEC is going to, who knows, SPS might go back to $1, DEC might go back to a penny. There's a lot of that out there. And again, my intention with talking about DEC in this way is to really just give you what the team is trying to tell you essentially and what the white paper says. Like, there is no indication here that they're going to try and pump the price of DEC. And sure, market factors can and have in the past been the ones that have changed the price of DEC significantly and made it do a 15x off of its peg last October. But that was due to the airdrop and DEC being given this highly overweighted utility, which importantly, the team has acknowledged, right? On multiple occasions, the team has acknowledged that, yeah, we probably gave DEC too much weight in the airdrop. And that's what caused that's what caused people to start hoarding it for the airdrop. Now, they made a decision and they weren't going to change it because a lot of people made financial decisions based off of that. So I respect the hell out of this, the fact that the team is just like, we're just going to let it ride. We're just going to let it ride. People, if they want to stock up on DEC and do that, then, more power to them. But again, my whole point with this is that anybody who's trying to make a trade on DEC or thinking that they aren't going to lose out on the initial capital, I think you're playing a dangerous game. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make a ton of money. That doesn't mean that you can't make a ton of money through the airdrop specifically, right? Or with liquidity pools. I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm even holding some DEC because it's nice, right? And it's much cheaper now than it was. It's like literally 1/6 of the price that it was when it was back in October. So all I'm trying to say is that before the town hall, the most recent town hall, we were given kind of like this gray area confirmation that like, yeah, we're going to see what happens with DEC after the airdrop. We don't want to do anything or mess around with it. And then today, or at least in the most recent town hall, based on when you listen to this, Matt was talking about how he sees this being the stable coin of the market and being pegged at 0.001. He even brought up something that got me thinking because about Chaos Legion packs and saying that at some point he sees Chaos Legion packs being sold for 4,000 DEC. Now, as it stands, Chaos Legion packs aren't available via SPS or DEC, and I believe they had changed that at the beginning of the general sale in January. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but the main reason for that was because there was a lot of fluctuation in price and they just didn't want to deal with the back and forth of that. But at some point, it sounded like they were going to start selling DEC or Chaos Legion packs for 4,000 DEC. But the idea would be that, DEC's price would need to come back down to its peg. Obviously, they're not selling it now, and I don't know if that was just a slip up from Matt thinking about how the old expansions were sold, but that's clearly not how it's happening now. But regardless of whether that was a slip up or not, it gives us, I should say, the insight into where Matt is looking at this and where the team is looking into this from a economy standpoint. So in their mind, there is nothing that they are planning to do, whether intentional or unintentional, that would really try to pump the price up in the same way that the airdrop did. So now that we are rounding the corner into the last final, or the final third or last 4 months of the airdrop here, we're already down, what is it, 83% from our all-time high? Yeah, we're down, about 83% from our all-time high. So, the risk now isn't as high, and obviously I was trying to shout it from the mountaintops before, but there's still a significant risk here of going back down to and potentially even below the peg for a certain period of time. Now, I do believe that even if we go below the peg, there's going to be a lot of buy pressure at that point. And I know that I'm going to be one of those folks, especially for my guild or whatever other upgrades they might have coming out at the time, where it's just going to be like, yo, if DEC is cheaper than the intended peg, then even just making it as a trade, the question is this: if if you could buy a US dollar for 80 cents, wouldn't you? That's exactly what I would be doing if it was under the peg, because I would know that then the algorithm is on my side, right? If I can buy DEC for 0.0008, right? So 20% below the peg, why wouldn't I ape into DEC at some point? Granted, there's not going to be utility then because there's no airdrop or anything, but I could hold it, speculate, and know that I had a very, very high chance of making a 20% gain at some point. So I don't believe if we do go below the peg, we're going to be down below the peg for very long. I think that there's a lot of folks that would be willing to throw DEC either in as a trade or to burn DEC, which is another way to help keep the value low and the supply in check. And right now, again, the only way to do that is through guilds, but that's something that even for me, I would do. And we don't have very many, max guilds out there. So I'm sure with all of the new players coming in, with the not in Splinterlands guilds, but the gaming guilds that are coming through, I'm sure they would want to be setting up guilds as well. And why not pounce on, being able to do it at a relative discount to where this is supposed to be, where the price of DEC is supposed to be. So again, DEC being referred to as a stable coin and the stable coin potentially of the future, and Matt and the team working through creating DeFi-like incentives for DEC as a stable coin, it just tells me that anybody who's thinking that DEC is going to go up to a penny or 5 pennies at some point, it's not going to happen. And again, the team has made mistakes before. And like I said, they've even admitted the mistakes about weighting DEC too high. So sure, you might have a happy accident if you're hoarding DEC and something gets broken in the system that DEC runs up in price, and the team, out of respect for the decisions that they make in putting information out, decides to let it ride. But that's a very, very small chance. And at that point, you're literally gambling and playing the odds that the team is going to mess something up rather than the other way around, right? I would rather base my investing decisions and financial decisions off of what I'm expecting the team to do, and I'll live with any mistakes that they make, because I don't think that they're intentional, right? And they're definitely inadvertent, and even still, I might be able to come away and make something from it. But if the team is intending for this to be the stable coin of the future, then I'm very much planning for DEC to go back to its peg, and I have never been more confident that DEC will go back to its peg, potentially even lower than its peg for a while as we start to eat through a lot of that extra inflated supply that happened over the past year. So those are my thoughts on where DEC is right now and where it's going to go in the future. Early on this year, if you'd watched the previous video of mine, or maybe if you watch these videos out of order, you'll probably see me saying something like, well, they've talked about potentially doing something with DEC in the future, so maybe holding it isn't as big of a risk. I think that changed today for me, right? So I still don't mind holding DEC right now for the airdrop, but it's just something to be cognizant of and make sure that you're fully understanding how liquidity pools work, how the value of this will work. I mean, granted, like, you can, if you're willing to hold DEC for the long run, you would only lose, and this sounds like only, but you would only lose 60% of your value, going from 0.0025 to 0.001. So if you can lose 60% of your value and mitigate that, or maybe even exceed it by earning the SPS from the airdrop, whether that's through a liquidity pool or just holding DEC, you do the math and make that decision yourself. I'm not trying to say that you can or cannot make money. I'm just saying that at this point in time, I honestly am starting to, or not starting to, but from everything that we've been given, I strongly believe that DEC is going to go back to its peg now, and there's nothing that anybody's going to do to stop that. In fact, it seems as though the team is waiting for that and then planning to build around that. So that's all I have in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would love to continue the conversation there and see what your DEC plans are for the future over the next 4 months and beyond. I will catch you on the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.